Alrighty, I'm gonna do one more of these today and then probably call it a day. So in the last one, we were able to, if you take a look at this beautiful flow chart, we were able to make it so that we can manually switch between these three states, the not alert, the engaged, and the searching state. Now it's time for us to make it so that there's a way to actually detect the player and switch via script automatically through that detection from the not alert state into the engaged state. So go ahead and open up your script. This is what we had last time, so if you haven't followed the other two videos, you might want to take a moment and get your character set up so that it has a script like this. And then in Unity itself too, that you have an environment that is baked. You have a NPC character that has a NavMesh agent component, as well as that script that I just showed you. So we're dealing with detecting the player today, right? To transition out of the not alert state into the engaged state. We can only do that if we've seen the player, so how do we detect them? There are so many ways to do this. Can you think of any? There's quite a few. If you think of one that I'm not about to list, please list it. Please reach out and let me know what that is. I'm curious. Here's one. We could cast a ray. That's like an invisible line out from where the eyes of our NPC would be. And this would probably give us the most realistic, like eye-based detection if you're using one of those games where your character has a head with actual eyes and you want to do it based on where they're looking, based on their animation and stuff like that. That would make sense. 2, we could continually check the distance between us and the object that is tagged as player. Every single frame, we could check how close we are. And if that number gets to be within a certain range, then we could say, oh, okay, we've detected the player. Sounds pretty inefficient, but we totally could do that. 3, and probably the way we're gonna go with, is we could set up a collider, like a sphere collider or whatever, that's attached to our NPC that just uses like an on-trigger event. So if an object enters this collider and if that object is tagged player, then we've detected the player. It's within our zone. And if the object tagged player leaves our collider, then maybe we start that countdown. Out of these options, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with a collider with an on-trigger event because that seems easiest. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do it with a collider. So in order to detect collisions, your NPC will need a collider. This capsule collider, I'm just going to keep as what that is, but let's add a bigger collider. So I'm going to add a box collider to it, and I'm going to click the NPC, move my mouse in the scene view, hit the F key to zoom in on it, and let's make the box collider bigger. So on the size of this box collider, maybe I'm going to do it like X is 3 and Z is 3. So if I zoom out a little, you can see this green area is the detection zone, that if our player is within that, we've detected the player. That's kind of small, but I'm okay with that for now. You can always change this to be different in your environment, of course. The other thing that you need is to check this box that says is trigger, because right now this collider right here will be a hard surface collision, but we want it to be a pass-through collision so that it's not an actual rigid box, it's a zone. So check is trigger. And lastly, you also need a rigid body. So go ahead and find a rigid body component. Make sure that in the rigid body component that use gravity is unchecked. We don't need gravity. Cool. So now that we have this rigid body without gravity, our box collider that is a trigger and has been stretched out to be the detection zone size that we want, we need to update our script to check if we hit anything. And remember earlier, we had this player game object and we tagged it as player. That tag is something that we can use to search for through these collision detections. So if we collide with something that has that tag, we know that we hit the player. So at the bottom here, on the same line as update, but this bracket here that's within our class bracket, we're still within that bracket. So make a little bit of space down here. You want to do an on trigger enter method. You want to check if we hit something tagged player. And if we did, then what do we want to do? Then we've successfully detected the player. So we want to switch to the engaged state. Cool. If you want a little mini challenge, you can pause the video right here and fill out this pseudocode into actual code, figure out how to declare an on trigger enter method, figure out how to check the tag of the thing that you hit, and then switch to the engaged state, which we've seen we can do by setting our current state to npc behaviors.engaged. So hopefully you paused it. Hopefully you found a solution. If not, I'm going to show you one right now. So our on trigger enter method is a void method and it's called on trigger enter. There you go. And the parameter here is what this is storing is it's the thing that hit you. So the thing that has entered that collider zone is stored within this variable called other. So in order to check if we hit something tagged player, what we're checking is what is the other thing tagged as. So we're going to check if, and then open up parentheses, other.tag is equal to the string player. And if it is, that means that we've successfully hit something called the player. And let's switch to the engaged state by saying our current state equals the NPC behaviors dot engaged. All right. So I'm going to hit save on all of that. So what we should see is we should see us being in the not alert state at the beginning. And then if I move our little player game object within that collider zone, we should see it switch to engaged, which right now it's not chasing us or anything. We'll just see the debug.log printout. So let's hit play. Right off the bat, we're in the not alert state. That's exactly what we want. And now I'm going to gently zhuzh this player game object close. And once it's within the zone, it sees the player. It says, I see the player now. Not alert has switched. And if we look at the NPC, yes, it is now in the engaged state. Perfect. If your collision isn't working, if you got to this point and when you drag your little cube guy over into the capsule, it is not switching to the engaged state, there's a few things to check. Number one, on your player, is it actually tagged as player? Number two, does your player have a box collider or any other collider component? It does need at least something. Number three, go to your NPC, and does your NPC have a rigid body? It needs a rigid body for the collision to be detected. Number four, check, does your NPC have a collider? And is the is trigger box checked to be true? Double check that. And then lastly, did you save your script? Make sure that you saved it. Make sure that it's not on trigger enter 2D, that it's the regular on trigger enter. If none of that works, maybe you need help. Reach out. Let me know. Let me know what's going on with it. Something fishy's going on and I'll help you debug what's going on with that. But this is working. So for the next feature that we're going to implement, we're going to take a look at the next part of our flowchart, which is the cooldown system, so that we can only be in the engaged state for like X amount of time. And then as long as the player is outside of our detection zone, then we'll start searching for the player. And that's the next thing we're going to look at. Good job in this one, and I will see you in the next one.